remember this video. I posted it exactly 2 years ago. One very kind woman who is one of my best friends today explained me in detail how to knit it, and today I decided to make a more complicated version that is also personalized. The original pattern and the settings for Passap 6000 can be found in the 5th issue of Duet magazine. Before we get to the lesson, I have to warn you that this video will be longer than usual. That's why you can take off the form computer and put your tablet on the stand. This awesome tip comes from Pat Wilson. To prevent your device from falling, you can put a piece of shelf rubber lining behind it. Or if you are using one with a bitten apple on the back, just fold the cover over the metal stand. Now it's time for knitting. First, make sure the racking handle is in its lowest position. Raise 80 needles on the front bed of the machine, 40 to the left and 40 to the right side of the center. Place the edge springs on the last working needles. Now raise 80 needles on the back bed. You have to observe the needle rule. Place the edge springs on the last working needles. It should look like this. On the front bed, put every third needle out of working position. You may start from either side. Finally, you must have 2 working needles on each end. Put the leftmost needle on the back bed out of working position and move the edge spring 1 needle to the right. Then put every third needle out of working position. Raise 1 additional needle to the right and put the edge spring on it. It should look like this. Now set both locks to N and the stitch size to 3.5. Insert the orange strippers and take the first color yarn. I will use 3 strands of acrylic yarn to knit the rib, then I will knit the rest of the stocking using 2 strands of each color. Rotate the racking handle 1 full turn anti-clockwise and knit 1 row. It should look like this. Set both locks to CX and increase the stitch size to 4.5. Rotate the racking handle 1 full turn clockwise and knit 2 rows. Set both locks to N and increase the stitch size to 5. Now knit 1 row to finish the cast on. Clear the row counter and knit 42 rows without changing the settings on the locks. Clear the row counter and set both locks to CX. Cut one of the yarn strands and pull it out. Pull the yarn behind the mast to tension it again. Make sure to put this yarn strand between the beds of the machine. Now you must have only 2 strands in the eyelet. On the front bed, use the orange tool to raise all the needles between the edge springs. Then raise all the needles between the edge springs on the back bed. Transfer the leftmost stitch 1 needle to the left. Leave the empty needle in working position. Transfer the rightmost stitch 1 needle to the left. Put the empty needle out of working position. Now knit 2 rows to fill in the empty needles. Clear the row counter, then set the front lock to BX and press the left arrow key. Set the back lock to N and decrease the stitch size by 2 clicks. Raise pushers under all working needles on the front bed and put them in working position. Now knit 20 rows with the first color yarn. The machine will knit only on the back bed for the first 2 rows, then the needles on both beds will knit for the next 2 passes. This means that 1 row of knitting requires 4 passes of the lock. Now take the second color yarn and knit 20 rows without changing the settings on the locks. Clear the row counter again, take the first color yarn and knit 20 more rows using the same lock settings. Clear the row counter. This is my name written in Cyrillic letters. You can find the Latin, the Cyrillic letters and the blank graph paper sheet in the description below. We already made the rib, so the name must be written upside down. Before starting to knit the name, you can mark if you have identical consecutive rows. I'm making the marks on the side close to the row count. Now let's make a simple calculation that will help us to center the name. My name contains a total of 34 stitches. We have to subtract 34 from 80. Now let's divide the results by 2. The answer is 23. This means that we must leave 23 pushers at each side in working position and use the ones in the center so the name will be centered on the stocking. I will draw a line to mark number 23 if I need a further reference. If your name is not more than 40 stitches in width, you can make a punch card and insert it upside down in the card reader to speed up the process. Now take the second color yarn. From left to right, slightly raise the 23rd pusher. Then from right to left, raise slightly the 23rd pusher. To knit the name easily, you may fold the sheet as you go. The empty squares on the graph sheet are for the pushers in working position and the squares with the letter X are for the pushers in resting position. Knit 2 rows with the second color, then 2 rows with the first color and take the second color to prepare the machine for the next row. Fold the sheet again and arrange the pushers for the second row of the pattern. Now knit 2 rows with the second color, then knit 2 rows with the first color and take the second color yarn. Fold the sheet again and arrange the pushers for the third row of the pattern. I have a video about knitting names, but I will leave the whole process so you have more footage to learn from. As you can see, I have a marking on the right, which means that the fourth row is the same as the third one. Knit 2 rows with the second color, 2 rows with the first color, then knit 2 more rows with the second color and 2 more with the first one. Don't forget to take the second color at the end. Now you have to fold 2 rows of the sheet and arrange the pushers for the next row. Continue the same way until you knit the name. When the name is knitted, the row count on the graph paper sheet will be the same as the row counter on the lock. While I'm knitting, you may support me by liking the video or subscribing to my channel. I will be very happy to see a photo of your Christmas stockings, so if you need some of them using this video, please send your photos to my email or upload them to my Facebook page. Thank you for watching this part of the video. This means that you are supporting me to continue making more of these videos. We are finally done. The row counter is at 44 rows, which is the same as the row count on the graph paper sheet. Clear the row counter and take the first color yarn. Use the orange ruler and put all pushers on the front bed in working position. Now knit 40 rows with the first color yarn. Clear the row counter. Take the card reader and attach it to the center of the machine. Take punch card 6B, rotate it so the arrow is pointing towards you and insert it until the sensing feelers are arranged for the first row of the pattern. Push the trip cam for the row counter to the left as far as it can go. Slide the deco device to the right, attach it to the front lock and set it to 4. Start with the first color yarn and knit 92 rows. You have to change the color on every second row, or in other words, whenever possible. When you can't see the punch card anymore, pay close attention to the sensing feelers. For this card you must knit 92 rows, but if you want to use another card you have to stop knitting when the sensing feelers are arranged in a straight line. At this point you can press the black lever, take out the punch card and remove the card reader. Clear the row counter, set the deco device to 0 and detach it from the front lock. Move the lock to the color changer and take the first color yarn. Use the orange ruler and put all pushers on the front bed in working position. Knit 20 rows without changing the settings on the locks. Clear the row counter and take the second color yarn. Now knit 20 rows with the same lock settings. Clear the row counter, take the first color yarn and knit 20 rows. Clear the row counter and press the 0 key to disengage the arrow key. Then set the back lock to BX. Move the lock to the color changer, cut the yarn tail and retread the machine. Leave 21 pushers in working position on the left side, then put the other ones in resting position. At the left on the back bed, raise 21 pushers and put them in working position. Attach a weight on the left side of the knitting. Now knit 2 rows. Put one pusher on the side of the lock on both beds in resting position and knit 2 rows. Then repeat these steps until there are 8 pushers in working position and the lock is on the right side of the machine. I will leave the whole footage so you may need to get another bowl of popcorn. When there are only 8 pushers left, put the rightmost one of them in resting position and knit 1 row. Now raise 1 pusher on each bed and knit 2 rows. Continue repeating these steps until you raise all 21 pushers. The lock must be on the left side of the machine. The row counter should be at 57 rows. Take out the eyelet, pull some yarn and cut it. Then pull the yarn from the lock, attach it to the edge of the extension plate and wrap it around the racking handle. Make sure the other yarn tail is between the beds of the machine. Take the red yarn tail from the right side of the machine and thread it into the double-eye bodkin tool. Then pull it out between the stitches. Put all pushers in resting position. Then put 21 pushers on the right on the front bed in working position. On the back bed raise 21 pushers and put them in working position. Attach a weight and knit 2 rows. Put 1 pusher on the side of the lock on both beds in resting position and knit 2 rows. Then repeat these steps until there are 8 pushers in working position and the lock is on the left side of the machine. If you still haven't liked the video, please do so to support me. When there are only 8 pushers left, put the leftmost one of them in resting position and knit 1 row. Now raise 1 pusher on each bed and knit 2 rows. Continue repeating these steps until you raise all 21 pushers. The lock must be on the right side of the machine. The row counter should be at 57 rows. If you want to count the rows, you have to push the trip cam for the row counter to the right. Otherwise, it won't show you the correct row count. Clear the row counter and press the left arrow key. Then set the back lock to N. Move the lock to the color changer and retread the machine. Push the yarn tail between the beds of the machine. Unwind the yarn strand from the racking handle, thread it into the double eye bodkin 2 and pull it out between the stitches. On the front bed, put all pushers in working position. Now knit 100 rows with the first color yarn. Clear the row counter, press the 0 key to disengage the arrow key and set the stitch size to 4.5. Set the back lock to BX. Rotate the racking handle anti-clockwise to its upper position. Move the edge springs and use the double eye bodkin 2 to transfer 21 stitches to the opposite needles on the back bed. Take a strand of the same color yarn and cast off these 21 stitches. I have a video about this cast-off method where you can see the process in detail. I will leave a link to it in the description below. When you cast off all 21 stitches, make sure both yarn tails are between the beds of the machine, then put the empty needles and the pushers out of working position. Move the right edge springs to the side and use the double eye bodkin 2 to transfer 21 stitches to the opposite needles on the back bed. Pull the yarn from the lock and cast off these 21 stitches. When you cast off all 21 stitches, the rest of the needles must be arranged according to the needle rule. Put all empty needles and the pushers under them out of working position. Now raise pushers under all working needles on the back bed. Make sure all of the edge springs are placed on the last working needles. Rotate the racking handle to its lowest position and knit 2 rows. Clear the row counter. On the side of the lock on each bed, put 1 pusher in resting position and knit 1 row. Repeat these steps until you have 15 pushers left in working position and the lock is on the left side of the knitting. Then put the leftmost pusher in resting position, knit one row to the right and raise one pusher on each bed on the side of the lock. Knit one row and repeat the same steps until you raise all of the pushers. Clear the row counter. On both beds put one pusher on the side of the lock in resting position and knit one row. Then continue lowering pushers the same way until there are only 14 pushers in working position and the lock is on the right side of the machine. Clear the row counter. Set the front lock to N and increase the stitch size to 5. Then set the back lock to N and increase the stitch size to 7. Rotate the racking handle anti-clockwise to its upper position and move the edge springs to the sides. Use the double eye bodkin tool and transfer all stitches to the needles on the back bed. After transferring the stitches, make sure to leave all empty needles in working position. Rotate the racking handle clockwise to its lowest position, knit one row and lower the front bed. Use the yellow tool and make a chain stitch cast off. Take off the weights from the knitting. Now you can remove the knitting from the machine. This is the sock right after you take it from the machine. I am very happy with the result. Now you have to hide all yarn tails, then fold it so the right side is inside and sew it on your sewing machine. I won't show you the sewing part, but if you want to see how I'm sewing the sock, you can watch the stocking video which I uploaded 2 years ago. The only difference was that this time I used regular thread to sew the stocking. And now you can see the final result. I made 3 stockings for all the members of my family. Thank you for staying with me until the end of the video. I hope you have learned something new by watching it. Don't forget to send me photos of your Christmas stockings. Thank you for watching, have a nice day and see you in my next video.